Welcome to Greg Morton Outdoors, and here we are for part 2 of beating the mental game of your through hike. This is actually the 4th time I've filmed this. The last 3 times I just wasn't happy with it, and I was finally able to get outdoors. It's a nice day, it's 60 degrees, but we've been dealing with single-digit temperatures, 40-mile-an-hour winds, snow, everything like that. And unfortunately, the trails are as I thought they would be today, and they're sloppy. Where there is any snow, it's now ice, and it's very slick, and basically everything is mud. So we're not going to go that far today. So last time we talked about 5 things that I think really can affect your mental state when it comes to your through hike. And that's the terrain, the weather, your sleep, nutrition, and injuries. So with those 5 in mind, let's say, you got out, you trained, you have confidence in yourself and your equipment to handle all sorts of different weather. You put together a really good nutrition plan. You tested out your sleep system several times and it really works for you. And you're ready to tackle any injury that could arise while you're on trail or take care of any existing injury. Well, here's a few things that can help you keep the right state of mind while you're on trail. And the first one is celebrate your small victories. Now, I know we all get excited about the big things that come up, like going into a new state, or maybe making it to Damascus, or Harper's Ferry for the halfway point. And that's great, and you should celebrate those, but along the way, take a look at some of the smaller things too. Hey, we got to the top of this mountain here, or, we made it to Neal's Gap. And we didn't throw our shoes in the tree. Little things like that deserve to be celebrated just as much as the big things. So when you're on trail and you hit, say, a new mountaintop, why don't you take a minute or 2 or 5 or 15, whatever's good for you, and celebrate that. Have a snack, do a selfie, send a text message off, whatever it might be, whatever works for you. Don't forget the small things, because when they all add up, they make the big picture. And with that in mind, make sure you focus on your accomplishments. You set off to hike 25 miles, but you only do 23. Don't get all bent out of shape that you didn't get those 2 extra miles. You hiked 23 miles. Take pride in that, celebrate that. So don't get upset because you didn't meet a goal, or maybe it took you a little bit longer to get to North Carolina. That's fine. That's okay. Focus on the positive things, like you made it to North Carolina. I mean, so many people drop out without even making it out of Georgia. So you achieved something there by itself, just making it to another state. And talking about what other people do, don't compare yourself to others. Okay, this is your hike, this is your journey, and well, God knows you're paying for it. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. They might be hiking longer, they might be hiking faster, they might have better equipment. Well, good for them. Worry about yourself, don't compare yourself to anybody else, do things that work for you. And hey, don't be afraid to take some time off. If you go into town, if you take a 0 or a 00, or who knows, maybe a 000. That's absolutely fine. That's okay. As long as you're not under a financial or time crunch, then go ahead and do it. It's absolutely fine. In fact, I personally believe that experiencing trail towns, the hotels, the restaurants, the hostels along the way, that's all part of the AT experience. So don't feel bad if you take some time off from the trail. And don't beat yourself up over stuff. It's not worth it. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you don't meet a goal that you met for yourself, that's perfectly fine. That's okay. Trust me, this is a marathon to end all marathons. It is far from a sprint. So don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't think that you're an awful person or a bad hiker. No, that's fine. Okay? Just shrug it off, because tomorrow is another day to excel. Because you didn't meet goals today or felt like you fell short on something, that's absolutely fine. You got tomorrow. You got tomorrow to go out, grab it by the nose and kick it in the pants. Make tomorrow your day. So you have something to look forward to. Conquer tomorrow. This whole time where I've talked about little tips and hints and tricks and whatever you want to call it, advice, what we were looking at doing is what's called building resiliency. And resiliency is when you hit something that feels like it's insurmountable and you can bounce back from it. So by this point, if you've been doing some of the things I've talked about, you definitely have some resiliency built up. Let's say one day you're on trail and you hit the wall and you feel like quitting. Well, what are we going to do? Well, the first thing I recommend doing is just getting off the trail. And I don't mean heading into town. I mean physically moving away from the trail. Find a place like this, away from everybody else, kind of sit down, take a minute, and try and analyze what's going on. All right, what's affecting you? What's putting you in this state of mind? Is it one of those 5 things that we talked about? Are you on your 4th day on the trail of getting rained on nonstop? That can definitely wear somebody down. Last 2 nights, have you gotten bad sleep? Well, maybe you just need to get some rest. You might be hungry, or, your knee could be just flaring up, driving you crazy, and it makes you want to quit. So those are things that you can address while you're on trail. Get to a shelter, get out of the elements, get some sleep, get some good hot food in you. If you have injuries, go ahead, take care of them. Wrap something, tape something, take some ibuprofen, whatever it might be. But you know what? Hang out for the rest of the day. Don't go back on trail, make it a short day, and just chill out. Good food and a good night's rest are definitely, maybe underrated when it comes to helping you recover. So just hang out, that night and get up the next day and see how you feel. And if you get up the next day and you feel like you still want to quit, get into town. And I'm not telling you that so you can catch a Greyhound bus home. Spend a Nero, do a 0, do a 00, whatever it takes. Relax, sleep in a warm bed, get some hot food, take a shower, which they can be totally life-changing. Wash your clothes. You're going to find portions of the AT where you're going to go for about 4, maybe 5 days where your clothes are going to be constantly wet. They're never going to dry out. And when you put them on, they're filled with sweat and salt and funk, and they're sticky and they just cling to you, and yeah, you get the point. So wash your clothes, putting on a nice warm shirt straight out of the dryer that's nice and clean, that feels pretty good too. And while you're in town, why don't you talk with some fellow hikers too? Chances are they might have felt exactly how you're feeling at that moment. Maybe they are feeling it, right then and there. But get in and talk about it and see how that makes you feel. That's always a good way to, help kind of vent and get it off your chest. You're not alone with this. Everybody goes through all different feelings when they're out on trail. You might meet somebody who's got some great advice for you. Hey, and don't forget, you can always journal something like this. You can blog it. You can use your phone, record yourself. Express how you're feeling, talk about your hardships, talk about, whatever you might be going through. Sometimes it helps just to get it out, whether if you record it or if you put it on paper. And don't forget to reach out to friends and family. You've got people out there that are rooting for you, absolutely 100%. So if you feel like you hit the wall and you want to quit, why don't you pick up the phone and call somebody? That can be a great source of encouragement, and it might be enough to get you back on track. But be careful. You might have some people in your life, and although you love them dearly, don't want to see you succeed. And that could be out of jealousy or it could be out of selfishness. So if somebody says, well, miss having you around here. We'd be better if you were back here. We're not doing too good without you around. Yeah, maybe that person isn't the one you want to call for encouragement. And, if it's your boyfriend saying stuff like that, get a new boyfriend. You know, just the simple fact that you showed up to hike the AT is an amazing accomplishment. It's something that people either dream of and never do, or wouldn't even fathom of doing. So, you know, even if you walk 5-10 miles and spend one night on trail, guess what? That's more than like 99% of the people in the world have ever done. So you should be proud of that. But you know, this walk from Springer to Katahdin, or from Katahdin to Springer, it's very doable. You got to have faith in yourself. Absolutely. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your abilities. You can do this. All right, folks, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell, because we'll talk to you soon.